Our tier system is tier 1, that's for everybody.
They're getting all the lessons for behavior, so that goes to everyone.
Tier 1 is when you're good. Tier 2 is say you get suspended 3 times, that's tier 2. Say you get more suspensions, you get the tier 3 and tier 4.
It's basically ranking from, good to bad.
We identify them through some data points and some teacher input.
If they're excessively late with an excuse, so almost like truant. If they're in trouble a lot with tier 3 and tier 4 infractions, those are the students that would pop to us through the data. And then we bring them to our group, which we meet once a week, and we go through.
And try to find some good interventions that may be appropriate for them to try to help them succeed.
For instance, if it looks like they might need just an adult to connect to, we'd put them with a mentor, and our teachers volunteer to do that.
I used to see Ms. Westrow personally. She used to call me out of my classes once a week so we could talk about my grades and catch up and stuff like that.
They check in on behavior and grades and just general, trying to form that relationship that maybe the kid is missing elsewhere in their life.
We have this thing with coaching, which is with Jen Westrop and Shelly Haley, and they'll come into a classroom and actually speak to the students through the Apple Watch.
And the teacher, real time, coaches the student in the class. So it's like a texting to the watch.
And the student will see that and get back on task. And actually the students have been pretty responsive to it.
And there's some feedback and dialogue after the session with maybe some goals to work on. This is what I saw you doing well, let's work on this next time. We also have some yoga, mindfulness type of groups. The idea of mindfulness is really just awareness. Students and teachers invite us into classrooms voluntarily, and we teach a series of short, mini 5 to 10 minute mindfulness lessons for a few weeks.
They'll work on just being mindful of what they're doing, what they're saying, how they're acting.
The mindfulness stuff, it kind of just tells you, be good, love yourself, be great.
If we have students who tend to be more on the aggressive side or just seem very anxious and all the time, she does yoga with them so that they can relax.
To try to get a handle on how to control those things a little bit better in dynamic situations. Trying to just give them some kind of set of tools to use, hoping that maybe they don't end up in tier 2. They can get it beforehand and have that little skill set to use if they choose to.
So there's a lot of different interventions in the tier 2 system.
And if tier 2 is not quite working out for a student, they move to a tier 3 intervention.
The tier 3 kids are meeting with someone every single day.
It's not really saying that you're bad, but it's kind of it's saying that you kind of need help in the behavior department. You come and you talk about your behavior, what's expected of you, what's not expected of you.
For my tier 3, the curriculum is called the Zones of Regulation. That is all about emotional regulation with students.
We kind of learn how to control our anger and kind of try to just do the best we can.
We categorize our emotions in different zones. There's 4 zones.
We give them just a toolbox of how to deal with things, baby steps in how to think about what's going on, how they can fix it, what they can do instead, things like that.
And when that student finds themselves feeling anxious or worried or whatever that emotion is, they learn to reference that toolbox that they create.
It does help, I think, because it helps you keep on track.
You have goals to meet, and I feel like when kids meet those goals, then they're oh, okay, I can do this. And they start to do it more often, and it turns into a routine.
The data speaks by itself. If you look at our data, we track every child, and they go down. Not every single kid, but I would say for the majority of them, they go down.
A lot of kids are now probably doing better than what they were doing before.
We reevaluate every 6 to 8 weeks. And if the behaviors are decreasing and we're seeing an improvement, we have graduated people out, we celebrate them. We still keep a watch, we still keep that door open between them and say the mentor, or them and whatever the intervention was.
So that way they know it's just not cut and dry, they're done.
We really are trying our best to help motivate students, but in the end, it's when that student wants to make that change for themselves is when you see the best results.
If a student needs help, then you should give them help. If you want to see somebody do better, then at least try your best to make them do better. But they also have to want it for themselves.
It's meant to be a resource for help. And if they choose to take it, if we can reach them, then there is positive there. It may not look like a glowing change in a moment, but we watch the little things. There's a little decrease here, a little decrease here, and it shows.